Well, headed into today's presidential visit, Rock County posted record high coronavirus numbers. Say they were concerned about having conflicts at the polls, but as of right now, police say they've had no issues. Police say what they do know is that Schmutzer was hiking alone along Grotto's Trail on the lake's south side around the time he was killed. For many of these students, this will be their first time this November to vote in a presidential election, which she says is why marches like today and gaining that solidarity are so important. Vice President Pence ended his speech today by asking those in attendance to pray for America, saying despite our differences and divisions, we've always been, quote, one nation under God. Long lines and big crowds welcome the president to Rock County today.
It's very historical. I've never seen a sitting president.
Inside, Illinois resident Julie Blake had a front row seat.
We left the house at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we got here. One of the maybe second cars here, and yeah, it was worth it.
Trump's visit brought thousands to Rock County, which, like the rest of Wisconsin, can't keep up with the surging spread of coronavirus. Bleck says the president has done a great job protecting the U.S. from COVID and says she doesn't mind being in a crowd so large.
I feel fine. I try to take care of myself regardless, so it is kind of scary. You can get yourself being scared, but I don't want to hide. I want to be out. I want to enjoy life.
Rock County has posted its 3 highest daily totals of coronavirus ever, all in the last week. Attendees feel an event like this being held outside helps to eliminate that risk.
I guess I wouldn't want my 88-year-old mom here, you know. So, but other than that, I don't think we're super spreaders or anything.
Those in the crowd today came from everywhere, including every corner of the state, Illinois, and even one person who booked a last-minute flight from Denver. They've got their minds made up. They're voting for Trump.
I care about not having a socialist country.
Reassurance. I like to hear some reassurance that we're going to win in 2020.
And while doctors, health officials, and local leaders all ask the president and his supporters not to show up, the Janesville crowd says to them, seeing him in person is worth any risk.
I wish people would judge our president of the United States on what he's done for the people.
Since June, UW Health nurse Andrea Romer has been taking on a task unlike any she's done before.
What we weren't prepared for is how lonely and scared patients can be when they can't have their loved ones visit.
She says at this point, the team taking care of COVID patients in the Trauma and Life Support Center runs like a well-oiled machine. But the virus is still presenting issues even the best frontline workers have a difficult time figuring out.
COVID always takes a different course than what we think, and that makes it so unpredictable. And then we can't always guide the family in what to expect, guide the patient in what to expect. We just kind of have to take it day by day.
What do you need me to grab?
These days, healthcare workers are seeing a second wave of patients, forcing UW Health to effectively double the space they're using for critical care.
Is this going to get worse? You know, like, how are we going to take care of everybody? You know, we're spread out thin as it is. Like, where are we moving next to open another one? How are we going to get the staff to staff it?
Carrie Elwood has been here for 20 years. Normally, she loves making a connection with her patients, but the one she's seeing now can't talk. Both nurses say this process can be incredibly lonely for the patient and them too.
We don't necessarily know what this will look like in the future, how long this will impact us as far as our emotional health.
But as things get worse inside these walls, both frontline workers say they're frustrated by what they're seeing from people outside.
When I have to go out for groceries, I see people walking without their masks on, and it makes me very angry and upset and sad because I see what, you know, happens. It's crazy how they want to, you know, have football games and have, you know, big rallies and all this kind of stuff, but, you know, we're struggling, and it seems like nobody cares.
This means sacrifices.
We're not planning our holiday traditions normally.
And more unknowns.
If we're going to get more patients than we already have, and what's the next step, and, you know, where are we going to get the staff to staff that?
And while they work harder than ever, these nurses know there's only so much they can do. And that's why they're asking you to do what you can do and what we've proven we can do together before.
When we ask people to use more PPE in the community, we really do mean that from a place of we're all in this together and that we're all experiencing this as humans together. And so the more they can do for us, the more we can do for them.
In Madison, Adam Duxter, News 3 Now.
Both nurses say they've learned over the course of the last 8 months that masks and PPE do make a difference. For more on our visit inside UW Hospital, including what doctors have to say about the future of the virus, you can go to our website, Channel 3000.
It was a car that came with plenty of problems.
It needed the whole suspension, so it had struts it needed rack and pinion we replaced.
But Tyler Gary saw the potential.
It's a Nissan 200SX. I like Nissans. I have a really bad addiction. I have like 8 of them.
This kind of work would normally take years, but Tyler and his buddies from the Northwoods Car Club have done it all in 8 weeks.
A lot of hours, weekends, all 10, 12-hour days.
Which is crazy, considering the car isn't theirs.
Gavin got sick about the end of July.
It's the one 17-year-old and fellow club member Gavin Schinke bought with dreams of repairing right before he got sick.
I noticed that he had jaundice of the eyes. He had gotten sick, really sick one night, wasn't able to stay awake, was passing out. So he got ambulanced down here from our hometown.
Gavin has spent months in the hospital with a disease doctors are still trying to figure out. His dream car on hold.
Oh my God.
That is, until today.
I didn't even think it was my car. Honestly, I never knew how good it would look, how I wanted it. And it's exactly how I want it.
New tires, new paint, new body. All done and paid for by Tyler and the club.
The car community will do stuff like this. I never thought it would happen to me.
And the feeling of happiness is mutual.
I feel very, very happy. It's probably one of the most happiest moments of my life right now.
And while Gavin still has a long road ahead, it's one he'll be driving in style. In Madison, Adam Duxter, News 3 Now.
Gavin's friends and family from Rhinelander are raising money to help pay for his surgeries and his hospital bills. We have a link to a fundraising effort on our website, channel3000.com.